What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Ex Drinking Buddy with me, your host, Brennan Tassif. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Full video available there. Check out the merch store. Look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff on the merch store. It's all available on the website, brennantcomedy.com. You can also get my tour dates there. Every show that I have coming up, I'm going to be in New York, traveling the country, doing a bunch of gigs. So check it out. Get tickets at brennantcomedy.com. Check out the merch store. And lastly, if you really want to support, go to www.patreon.com/BrennanTComedy. And that is where you can find Tales from the Restaurant, where I divulge everything about the celebrities I wait on. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. You'll also get the episodes early, a bunch of bonus episodes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex Drinking Buddy. I am your host, Brennan Tassif. You're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by you guys. This week is no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, John Jacobs.
Wow, thanks for that big energy.
What's up,
Good
man?
to be here. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine.
This is our first time meeting.
Yeah.
Also, I got to say, this is a very funny setup because people don't know. They can't see your place, but you have a very nice place.
Thank you.
You have a newborn child. You have a wife. You have
Yeah.
a nice apartment, cool view, good neighborhood and everything. And your podcast is about drinking and drugs and like getting shit-faced. Whereas most other podcasts are like shitty losers and dirty spaces talking about like philosophy and like hardcore life and like we got to change the world. And it's like, you don't change your clothes. You don't clean your apartment. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to make a difference. You have zero life at all.
It was very funny because when you came in, because the listeners know that most of the guests are late all the time.
Right.
So when we originally scheduled it, I was telling my wife, because we had to get a bunch, because I'm going on tour tomorrow. So we had to get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, I said 3. I'll get the laundry. Like, I got the baby. And then at like 2:57, you were like, hey, I'm outside. And I was like, this guy's on time. All right, here we go.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
So that's a credit to you because most comics are derelict and they're just like, yeah, I'll get there when I get there. And I'm like, you have 12 followers. Like you are in no position to be like, I'll get there when I get there.
Plus, I think I'm pretty familiar with it in New York at this point, where I know to get to Astoria from anywhere takes about 40 plus minutes. So
Well, let's talk about you before we get too far into anything. Plug everything up front. Let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, all that kind of stuff. This will come out Monday. So any dates you have coming up next week?
Beautiful. I'm in New York for next week. Yeah, next week I go back to DC. I don't have anything planned for a while. I'm going to Florida. I'm headlining a Florida gig in December.
Gang. Where in Florida?
Coastal Creative in St. Pete.
No, so Coastal Creative. I've done shows there. I'm a Florida boy. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I lived in Tampa for 15 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
Daytona.
Oh, wow.
When did you live in Tampa?
2008 to 2023.
So we probably had a lot of the same run-ins with the same people if you're doing stand-up.
Definitely. And I was in Daytona a bunch. What was it called? Grandview Live?
Oh, yeah. I've done Grandview.
Joke Factory.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah.
On like the 19th floor of a hotel. That was awesome.
Now they have like Bonkers and we had Tiernanog for a long time, but RIP to Tiernanog. That was like, my buddy Zach Bennett ran that, and it was basically just a hole-in-the-wall bar on International Speedway.
Oh, sweet.
And they would do a mic there on Wednesdays at like, it wouldn't start until like midnight.
Yeah, Grandview Live, you play it, and then you immediately lose over everything you made the weekend at Lollipops across the street. Lollipops.
I know Lollipops. Razzles, Lollipops.
Sure,
I got a settlement one time from getting hit by a car.
Oh, wow.
In college in South Florida, moved back to Daytona. 2 or 3 years go by, I finally get the settlement. I blew through $26,000 in 28 days because of Razzles and Lollipops and just that Seabreeze Boulevard strip.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was Molly Brown's, which isn't there anymore, but that was across the street.
Yeah, I did a reality TV show, and our prize money, they gave us $32,000, which was like 28 grand after taxes. But yeah, all of that was on like gambling and drugs.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it at all.
No.
I don't.
People, it's so funny because I had a bit about it for a long time, but people were always like, you could have gotten like I could have got my DUI stuff fixed. I could have paid off student loans. Like there's so much I could have done, but it's like, yeah, but I had an awesome month.
Yes.
Of like just ripping and running. The worst part though, and this I thought was the funniest part, but the worst part was after I blew through all the money, I checked my account and I was negative $174.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck. And I went to Lollipops because I used to just walk in there, change $200 and just throw it up and be like, hey, I'm here.
Right.
And I walked in there and I was like, because I knew the bartenders now at this point and stuff. I was like, you guys aren't going to believe it. Like, I can't believe I spent all of my settlement money. And they were like, wait, so you don't have any money? And I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, you have to leave.
Ooh.
And I was like, I thought we were friends.
I know. Wow.
Not even the dancers, like the bartenders. I was like, I thought we were friends.
That hurts.
So you're in DC now.
Yes, I'm in DC now.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about you. So you spent a long time in Florida. Where did you grow up? Like
I grew up in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Okay, that's a place.
Yes, it is a place. I know. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Okay.
My name is John Jacobs from Chevy Chase, Maryland. Yeah, so like everything was already a parody from the beginning. I mean, it was in the prophecy that I would just be this thing.
You are the chosen
I guess, yeah. But yeah, grew up in Chevy Chase, Maryland, went to University of Tampa, stayed there for 15 years. I did like less than a year in LA in the middle. Since I left Florida, I've done 7 months in London. I did like, a combined like 9 months in New York scattered across. And and then also just a bunch of different traveling. Like I did a month in Atlanta. I was in Chicago recently.
You went to Tokyo?
Yeah, I did 2 weeks in Tokyo. That was so much fun. I loved that. So yeah, I've been bouncing around and doing whatever the hell I want at the moment. And awesome. Filming in DC has been the thing that's like caught on for me because I've been a stand-up for almost 19 years and I've been a street performer for 7 years. And through the street performance, not much has come of it. But as of a couple of years ago, I just started doing this thing with a mask on in front of the White House and stuff. And I posted the first clip last year in like June maybe. And after like a year and a few months of posting, it's just been, huge growth.
So I want to ask you, because this brings up so many questions I have. A lot of times when I have guests on, we'll talk about comedy and stuff like that before we get into the stories. And this is something very interesting to me. So you started comedy almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so when you started comedy, what was the thing where you were like, and you had mentioned going to Florida, living in LA, like bouncing around. What was the thing where you were like, oh, I want to do this? Because comedy in itself is kind of a niche thing.
Sure, yeah.
And we meet so many people who are like, I could never, like, I'm funny at work, but I could never do what you guys do. So for you, what was it where you were like, oh, I'm going to try this?
I was a funny kid my whole life, like in school and stuff. And my friends just, pushed me towards it.
Okay.
They're like, you got to try, you got to do it, you got to do it. So when I was a senior in high school, I started it.
Yeah.
And then, that summer I worked as a door guy and a sound guy at the DC Improv.
Okay.
So I was just around a ton of comedy. And then, just started doing open mics and never stopped. Did it all through college.
Damn.
And, literally been doing it forever now.
So then what happens to where you moved to DC and then what happens where you pivot to the street performance?
I started doing street performance in Florida in like 2017 or 20, I don't remember. But, and I made a couple like short films out of ideas based around street performance, which was a lot of fun. And then, I did it in London as well. And I just kept doing it because the clips from it would do well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, people like the clips of me doing street performance. There was a while there where when TikTok was still like coming up during the pandemic, where I had like the most watched stand-up clip on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, from being on the street. It was like 9 million views and like, the hashtag stand-up. It was like the one video. And of course that's been, blown way out of it now. But so that was, a good sign.
What's going through your head though? Because as someone who started and you're grinding it out, you're doing open mics, like you're doing all the shit that we all had to do.
Yeah.
What's going through your head when the first couple of videos, so you start doing the street performance, you start posting those and then those start hitting. What are you thinking? Because I love these little details. Are you like, I figured it out? Like I got the cheat code? Like,
a little bit. I mean, I'm like, okay, they like this. And I get it. And I mean, you start to like just learn things about content and the algorithm in general where like I'm noticing trends in terms of like, okay, it seems like videos that have a lot of movement in them do well. A lot of colors, a lot of movement, and a lot of fast cuts.
Yeah.
So, street performance, there's so many moving things around you that, just as aesthetically and visually, like colors and lights, it's like, it's very...
It sounds so rudimentary.
It is very
much
it's like a slot machine of, content. And
shiny.
Yeah, exactly. So people are like, whoa, this is weird, and I'm wearing a suit. So that's like,
you wear a suit with the mask.
Yeah, I added the mask. So at first it was just the suit on the street. Yeah. And I did that for a while. And then, then I added the mask, and then I added the location of the White House and the Capitol behind me. So that combination of so many things, it's like, okay, what is, I got to see what this is.
I did that. So I've worked in restaurants for a long time I did it through high school, through college, like while I was playing football, while I was doing stand-up. Nice. And I would always talk about working in restaurants, like either on stage or I would do I was like, front facing is the thing to do now. So I do the walk and talks, like talking about restaurants.
Those works, yeah.
And then to your point, I filmed one at the restaurant because I was like, shit, I have to put a clip out today.
Yeah.
I was at work. So on my break, I went down to the bar in the speakeasy that we have.
Yeah.
And I filmed it with the bar behind me.
Yeah.
And I had at least 7 or 8 people be like, this is the aesthetic. This is the thing. And I was like, oh, people actually get hooked based on where you are.
Oh, totally.
Like to your point about the Capitol behind you, people are like, oh, what's going on here? So when I'm filming in my restaurant, in my uniform with the restaurant behind me, people are like, oh, what's this about? And I'm talking about that got so many more views than anything else even if I put out something controversial about tipping, because people get real fired up about that.
Yeah.
If I was doing it as a walk and talk, maybe 1,000 views. If I did it in the restaurant, 10, 20, 30,000 views. And I was like, oh, the aesthetic makes all the difference.
Yeah, it does. And it is interesting in that way because, I mean, it is always the thing of the thing you put 1 million hours into, it gets 3 views. And then it's the one thing that you didn't think anything about.
I was literally on break at work and I was like, let me just throw it
nuts.
up.
Oh, yeah.
And I had my shout out to Sean. He does all my still photography work. He was like, dude, this is where you need to be recording. And I was okay.
Yeah, that can make all the difference. And it is. I'm very happy now that the political material outside is what's getting the most attention because I was on reality TV 12 years ago.
What were you doing? You said you had won a reality show.
Yeah. So I was on 2 MTV reality shows. Yeah, one called Are You the One and the other one called The Challenge. And so for,
Challenge?
Yeah, The Challenge.
Like The Challenge?
Yes, I was on The Challenge. I know, it doesn't seem like I'd be someone who's on it.
No, the only reason I asked that, I didn't tell my wife who was coming on today.
Okay.
She's obsessed with The Challenge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was on it with, CT and Johnny Bananas.
She's going to be so pissed that
that's
left
so
the
funny.
apartment.
Yeah, I could have answered a bunch of questions.
What season of The Challenge were you on?
26.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was only on 1 season because, I don't think I was what they were looking for. I was what they were looking for when I was on the first reality show.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, I had started getting way too into cocaine and stuff and just, I was trying to be better, but it was just, I was just a mess. And
so what led, I kind of derailed us. What led to, there's a lot of us who do stand up and we grind it out at the open mics. What led to doing the MTV stuff? Did you just watch an MTV one day and they're like, hey, submit here? And you're like,
well,
I
had applied for The Real World and I did interviews for that and I didn't get it. And then, one day I just got a call from someone.
Because you were in the system.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But when I asked them, I said, how did you find me? They said Facebook. So I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I really have no idea what exactly got me in there.
That's crazy.
But yeah, just got a call and they were like, oh, it was on Facebook. I'm like, okay. And they were like, yeah. And so, you go to LA and you do auditions and stuff. And then
was this when the challenge had crossed over with TJ Lavin and it was super intense? Had it crossed over at that point?
Yeah, TJ had already been doing it for a long time by the time I was there.
Because I remember it used to be, and they talk about this on the podcast because my wife, sometimes I'll take her because again, I have friends. Sean, my photographer, also does the photography for a lot of the challenge stuff, Challenge Mania and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the coolest thing for me because I like the show, but I'm not as into it as she is.
Sure.
But it is a very cool thing to be like, yeah, I'm a comic. Yeah, you're the breadwinner. Yeah, I'm an artist. But it's like, hey, you know what a finance guy can't do? You want to go backstage at the Challenge Mania podcast because I know people.
Exactly.
But they're always talking about how it used to be like a party back in the day.
Okay,
and then slowly but surely it's turned into the 5th major sport in America.
Yeah.
Where now it's you have to come in ripped, jacked, ready to fucking go. When you were on it, was it more physical or was it more party?
It was definitely more of the challenge side, there was much less of a party. So
Okay.
many things had changed because of how long it had been on and what they've like restricted.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, we were only allowed to go to this one beach bar with no one else interacting with us, because like they told us, they're like, you know, we used to mix with like people in the city, but like, you know, CT would beat people up.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can't
I remember
interact
some
with
of those
anyone.
old episodes where they're just getting like, you're like, those people, they're letting them just get alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah, and they were very strict on the amount of alcohol we could even get.
Really?
Oh yeah, because the first show we did, Are You the One? It was the first season of that, so they just wanted it to be as good as possible. So they gave us everything we could ever want.
Yeah.
Like literally, just write down whatever you want. I'd say Bud Light Lime, and they would bring me a big thing of Bud Light Limes. And on the challenge for that show, each night they would like give the entire house. It was like one handle of something, one bottle of wine, and like 20 beers. That was it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And they dyed the clear liquor blue because they said on other seasons, cast members were filling their water bottles with the alcohol. So they literally needed to dye it a different color. So they knew if people were like trying to get fucked up during the daytime.
That's hilarious.
But I went in the house with a bottle of Adderall and I gave it to everyone on the fucking show. So yeah, they liked that. They kept me around. So that was cool.
That's
I was a
awesome, man.
Yeah, I was a drug dealer in the house. Yeah, good times.
So then you get done with that.
Yep.
And then I want to ask you, especially recently. So the street performing you talked about, that takes off. You start touring more and more. When you start getting the following that you got, because you've got quite a following now.
Yeah, now, yeah.
When the following starts to build in the last year and a half, is this a thing in your head? Because you're a comic at heart.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that I've had on and I've been like, oh, why'd you get into stand up? And they're like, oh, well, because it's easier than auditioning. And I'm like, I made a mistake having you on the show. This was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But for you, you've always wanted to do stand up. So in your head, while this is happening, are you thinking, oh, I'll parlay this into
100%.
show? Okay.
Yeah, all I'm thinking about, because like a lot of people on these MTV shows too, like, you know, it's a huge deal for these reality people where they just, all they care about is how they're coming off in the final cut, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They like, and you know, they're not comics. Like I just care about the humor side. They just want to look cool, you know? So they're very like carefully curating everything they do on the show. And I'm just like a wild mess. I'm wearing stupid outfits and like getting trashed. And yeah, because I'm like, I'm like,
this is
comedian.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, this is funny for me. Who gives a shit? So yeah, the first show, the producers loved that. Like the first week, they were like going around the house telling everybody like, oh, maybe lean into this, maybe do that or whatever. And they come up to me, they're like, you're perfect. Don't change anything. So I'm like, hell yeah. And I got cut off from drinking multiple times in the house because I was just doing too much crazy shit. And which was hilarious too, because there was a moment
you get cut off on an MTV
I know it was
reality
crazy
show.
because a lot of the producers also were producers on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
And one of the times they cut me off, I'm just like, you know, I'm so wasted, and I'm like, am I crazier than the Jersey Shore cast? And they're like, yes, much. And I go, even Snooki, and they go, much crazier than Snooki.
Really?
Yes. So yeah, it was
Ronnie
my
punched some dude in the street.
I know. So I was very honored. Well, yeah, there was one of the reasons why they cut me off from drinking. Oh God, it was like, you know, within the first 7 to 10 days, but I just got so trashed. And I was like, I was telling everyone in the house to hit me.
Oh, okay.
I was like, hit me, do it. I don't give a shit. And they are. People are hitting me. And so
Did this make the cut? The final cut?
no, because the rest of the show, for a long time, my body was covered in bruises. And they're like, we can't show you on TV covered in bruises.
That's what I assume.
Yeah, so like, I don't know if they like airbrushed some of the future footage, but like, you know, for a long time, if I had my shirt off, I was covered in bruises. So that, yeah, they were like, dude, this, you know, they're like, this isn't fun. This isn't a fun vibe when you're like getting people to hit you.
I remember, God, towards the end of my drinking, obviously it wasn't televised, but I remember having those nights where you'd be with a buddy and you'd be like, let's fucking wrestle.
I don't care.
Fucking hit me as hard as you
Nothing
can.
hurts me.
I'm invincible. I'm the Hulk.
Yeah. So I had one of those, and that was a good one. Yeah.
So
they cut me off that time.
when did you decide? Because obviously you, from what the stories you're telling, and I'm going to make a leap here, but obviously you have your life a lot more together now, especially with the traveling and really pursuing stand up like full bore. And obviously you have to have your wits about you, because for those of you listening, it's in the show notes. Go look at John's Instagram. Some of the stuff you do, Like I saw the one where you were talking to the two black dudes,
Okay.
like away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was
They're,
like,
roasting
are
each
you
other.
not like worried about
Nah,
anything?
who cares?
And it was so funny because you're like, I'm getting roasted by Cam Patterson over here.
Yeah.
Cam, friend of the show, been on the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's another Florida boy.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was hilarious because politics is obviously I majored in political science. One of the things you always learn is you don't talk about politics, finance, or religion.
Okay.
But you just lean into it.
Yeah.
And
big
you're
time.
talking to like the ICE agents and you're talking to like the cops and you're talking to the people who are like parks people. But in DC, it's different than it is in like Wisconsin. Like those park rangers are like suited.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're, worried about terrorism and stuff. So when you're doing that, because I know you're not worried about performing because you've been performing your whole life, but when you're doing that, is there an element of fear or danger, or is that what gets the views? Is the element of danger?
So the first times I did it out there with the mask, I was definitely nervous because I'm like, I don't know how Secret Service is going to react. I don't know how anybody's going to react. But then, I kind of quickly realized like, they're used to like extreme protesters who are like, angrily shouting and like, fuck the government, we'll kill it. So they're used to like, bad intentioned people, whether it is good intention, but it's too extreme. But I make it clear. I'm like, I'm trying to make people laugh. Like we're having fun here. So you
do say that a lot. We're having a good time. We're having fun.
So they recognize that and they're like, oh, he's fine. He's no problem. Like they're so used to so much crazy shit. And now it's gotten to the point where at the Capitol and the White House, they all know me. The guards, they all know me, and they like it. They tell me they like it. The other day, I went to the Capitol last week just to ask them some questions about like some more stuff I could get away with. And because I have all these ideas for stunts and things. I'm like, can I?
If I hop the fence.
Yeah, I'm like, legally, what can I get away with here? But so I'm talking to one of the guards, and within like a few seconds, he goes, I recognize you from your voice. He goes, you're the mask guy. I was going to say, because
you wear the mask.
Yeah, and I go, yeah, it's me. He goes, I'm in one of your videos. I go, oh, no way. I go, did you like it? He goes, yeah, I loved it. He goes, I sent it to my wife. It was so much fun. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So then he starts, showing me things on his phone and chatting with me. So, yeah, they like it, which has been funny sometimes because one of the times at the White House, like, the guys are like, yeah, we like it. They're like, roast this other lady Secret Service. That'd be funny. Whatever. But as I'm doing my act that day, I had some, like, really edgy political jokes, and one that had a joke about Trump. Usually politics are it's the billionaire pays the politician to do the thing. I go, Trump is a billionaire, he does the thing, cut out the middleman, save a bullet, right? And I'm saying that, I'm like, ah, shit. And because they're realizing like, oh, we shouldn't have we shouldn't have told him. We
shouldn't have been friends with this guy.
Yeah, because he's getting a little too much. But yeah, so it is nice that so far everybody's cool with it. And yeah, it has gotten to the point where I did it last week in front of the reflecting pool, and it was probably the most people ever who like recognized me, which is cool. Like literally a guy was on vacation from Australia. He's like, dude, I love you. So yeah, it's gotten really cool of like, people catching on and, enjoying it.
And it is an interesting thing. And the thing I like about the mask is that you can also just walk around and nobody's like, hey, you're the guy.
Sure.
Like, if you live in DC, you can just walk around and be fine.
Yeah, one of my buddies said I'm like the Daft Punk of comedy.
Yeah, I was going to say Batman, but yeah.
Okay, I love it. So that's been fun. And I've been selling masks as well. I have custom masks that I've been selling.
Check it out. We'll link it in the show notes.
If anybody wants one, I got like 18 left.
There we go.
So I love the masks. That's been a lot of fun. So
when did you decide to slow down on, because that's where I was kind of going with that. When did you decide to like slow down on the partying and stuff?
So, after doing the TV stuff, I tried to be in LA for a year. It was disgusting. It was really gross. A famous actor tried to molest me. I've told it on a bunch of other podcasts. Yeah. But a famous actor tried to molest me, and that was gross. And, I was like, oh, this place is weird, man. So
the thing I've noticed about LA, because when I decided to move from Florida, I was like, oh, it's New York or LA. I visited LA. But as soon as I got off the subway in New York, I was like, oh, I think it's New York. Mm-hmm. And then the comedy here is because so many people move here just to be the best comics they can be.
Yeah.
Whereas in LA, it's a lot more, let's try to be as famous as we can possibly be.
Yeah.
And I noticed that distinction goes a long way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I go out to LA and I've got friends that live in LA and I love them very much. And I love what they're doing out there, and they're doing like a big thing. But whenever I go out there, it's to your point, I'm kind of like,
oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, the mics and shows, there were multiple comics on the shows where they're like, like I'm an actor, but like my acting coach told me it'd
Yeah.
be like good exercise. To
Yeah.
do it's like, oh, okay. So
I
like,
went to the Comedy Store because a buddy of mine, the Riff Raff, huge shout out to Billy Myers III, hosts a show there, runs a show there, produces it, hosts it, the whole deal. And so I would go to be on that show, and I love that show, and it's awesome. It's no material. You just pull from the Riff bucket or the Raff bucket.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. But while we're like waiting, because, you know, I'm in LA, I don't have anything else to do. So I'll just go to the store and hang out with him like hours before.
Yeah.
And I'll watch some of the comics, some of the famous people that are doing comedy in the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see them and they're very funny, famous actors. And then they're just talking about being famous actors. And I'm like, oh, this isn't, like, I'm a storyteller, but at least I have like tags and stuff. I'm like, you're just kind of talking about being famous.
Yeah, I mean, I was there in 2015, and, you know, I don't know how much it's changed since then. But, yeah, at the Comedy Store, you know, I'd hang out there a lot, you know, almost every night. And, yeah, there was definitely a very strong feeling of desperation. Just the, like, you know, literally like 100+ comics there every night, just like begging for anything.
And it's so funny, the disparity, because in New York, the Cellar is obviously the place to be.
Yeah.
And you talk to comics here and they're like, oh no, I'm scared to go there.
They don't even bother.
Yeah, they're like, no, I'm not going to go there till I'm past.
Right.
Like, I go there a lot just to be around it.
Yeah.
But I know so many people who are like, I'm terrified to walk in there.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is so funny. And the one thing I will say, when I go to LA and people are like, you know, the Comedy Store, best club in the world, I'm always like,
yeah, it's not.
Best club on the West Coast? Yeah, I'll give you that for sure. 100%. I was like, we got 3 clubs in New York that would bury you guys.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So then you're done with LA.
Yeah. So the drinking. So I came back
Just
to
wanted
Florida.
to talk shit about LA for a little while.
I came back to Florida and I started running like 5 open mics a week.
Oh, really?
Yes. I just decided.
So this is after the TV stuff, after all that.
Yes.
Now you're back to running open mics.
Yeah, and even worse than that, before I went to running open mics, I was just a janitor at a gym.
Really?
Yeah, I was a janitor at a gym and I was doing Uber Eats. So, I was literally doing nothing. I'm like, oh, this sucks. And I was like, well, if I can like make it on comedy some way. And I was like, yeah, if I run like a mic every night and like charge $100, like I could live off that. So yeah, I started running like 5 mics a week and then maybe like 1 showcase a month here and there at other places. But yeah, so ran 5 mics a week for essentially like, I don't know, 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And then,
that's where the money is, producing shows, running.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends that do comedy full time, but they don't tour or anything. And I'm like, how do you, especially in New York, I'm like, how do you survive? They go, I produce like 3 shows a month and I run like 10, 12, 15 mics a week.
Yeah, exactly.
And here they charge for mics. So it's, you know, everyone's paying $5. They're like, that's how I pay my bills.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you can do it that. So that's what I was doing. And yeah, I mean, it was cool for a while. And then, you know, just essentially still doing that and, you know, money off content every now and then.
Yeah.
So yeah, content is, you know, how I'm making my money now at this point with, you know, stand-up shows as well. But yeah, I mean, I still don't work regularly enough. Like I've never gone on like real tour. I did colleges.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I did colleges. Like
with your following, the amount you get recognized, the credits that you have, and you're like, yeah, you know, I try to do shows here and there, and I'm like, I know, I'm jump out of the window.
It's ridiculous. I know. Because I'm like, you know, it's like the thing of like I've headlined bar shows forever, but I never had like club tour. Yeah. But I had a meeting with an agent last night who wants to represent me.
There you go.
That's a good. I know. It took me 18 and a half years, but I finally got like a legitimate.
We're still pushing,
agent.
baby.
I know. So yeah, you never know how long it'll take.
I have a friend who all he's done is comedy.
Yeah.
And I won't say his name because this is the trick he told me, and I don't know if he wants his business out there, but he taught me he was like, I put Google alerts on my phone for new comedy club.
Oh.
So whenever a new club opens anywhere in the country,
that's a cool idea.
He gets a Google alert.
Wow.
And then he will reach out to them and go, hey, I'm a New York City comic. These are my credits.
Yeah.
Let me know if you ever want me to headline.
That's a good idea.
And new clubs are so thirsty to get anyone with any sort of credibility. Yep. And living in New York is a credit in itself.
It is. Yeah.
So then they're like, and because all he did was comedy. And I was like, and at the time, like his following is much bigger now, but at the time he didn't have a huge following. And I was like, we're on the same showcases together in the city.
Yeah.
Like, how come you're touring every week and I can't get booked on a bar show in Florida?
Yep.
And that was his trick. And I was like, that's actually
a good idea.
Pretty fucking smart.
But yeah, so with the running the open mics, you know, essentially free drinks every night. And, you know, running open mics, you see a lot of terrible comedy as well. So, like, drinking starts to become, like, the only way you can deal with it. So, yeah, essentially, like, every night of the week, you know, I'm having, like, 3 to 5 drinks, but that adds up when it's every night. So, yeah, drinking, smoking weed every night. And then, yeah, I was doing cocaine.
When did that start?
Cocaine started, the first time I ever did cocaine was with Chris Kattan. He was headlining at the Tampa Improv.
Of course,
and I
he
was
was.
his
He's in
host.
Florida all the time.
Yeah, and he wanted to get cocaine, so I helped him get it. So I did it with him, and that was the first time I ever did it. And then yeah, just kept doing it. And yeah, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. You know, I had a girlfriend at the time who would also do it with me. So you know, that was a ton of fun. And yeah, doing.
Got to find someone with similar interests. You know what I mean?
Yeah, doing drugs, drinking, gambling, nonstop, living the dream, and
What happened with the Florida casino? Because I feel like that was around this time.
Yeah,
sent
so
me a
I
story
mentioned that I
about-
am banned from the Hard Rock Casino forever, which
Hollywood Hard Rock?
no, the Seminole Hard
Okay,
Rock
yeah.
in Tampa,
Yeah.
and which doesn't mean shit because I've gone back like 100 times since I've been banned for life. All it means is if I win too big, they'll just keep it and I'll get kicked out, which is
really?
fucked up because then. So usually what I do is my trick is I bring a friend with me. And I make them hit the button.
Yeah.
I go, I'll sit next to you, you play, and I'll just sit here and watch, and you got to do it. So just in case we hit $1 million, I'll run away.
Yeah.
And you get it. But there's plenty of times where I've gone by myself too, which my friends love making fun of me for this idea because I told them, I'm like, yeah, there's times where like you hit a bonus or something on a slot machine, and I got to be like, all right, big money, but like under 1,200 because if it's over, then they got to hand pay and they take your ID.
So this is what I wanted to ask about the being banned from a casino. I always assumed it was like Ocean's 11, where you show up and they see Danny Ocean and then everyone rushes
Nope,
and they're like,
they don't care at all.
Okay.
They're only going to get mad at you if you win. They're still happy if you show up and play and lose.
yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
so-
making money. So
Yeah,
then
yeah,
if
yeah.
you win too big, you have to hand your ID.
Yep, and then they go,
put
"Ah."
it in the system and they go, oh, no,
Yep.
you're not.
Yeah, we're not paying you. Fuck you. And it was a self-ban too. I banned myself. You can do that. You can do a lifetime self-ban.
So you just walked in and was like, hey, ban me.
Well, so I spent like a night there with a girlfriend. It was 420. It was like, it was 420. Yeah, on like 2015 maybe 2016. I don't remember. But and my girlfriend. It was so it was 420, but also like it wasn't like Valentine's Day. If it was some kind of holiday or something, but she wanted to like get a dinner, or maybe it was like an anniversary. I don't remember, but she's like, we need to go to a nice dinner. Like it's a special day. And I was like at a show that night. So it's like 10 o'clock now. And I'm like, well, nothing's open. There's nothing we can do. And she's like, well, the casino has a nice restaurant and they're open 24 hours. And I'm like, I have a gambling problem. Like, you know that. And you still want us to go to the casino? She's like, yeah. And she's like,
It's a nice restaurant.
yeah,
It'll
she's
be
like,
fun.
we got to do something nice. I'm like, all right, fine. So of course we go, and then I end up spending $1 million, and we're both trapped. And it was so crazy. Like she was so loud, and she was running around the casino, and I could hear her from wherever she was, and the security guys thought it was hilarious. They're like, "Oh, she's nuts." I'm like, "I know, I hear her. It's crazy." But so yeah, we were just there for so long and lost so much money. Where I was like, I can't keep doing this. We're gonna do like the self-ban thing. But so what happened was, I guess we decided this after I left. So I called the casino. And I was like, I want to do that self-ban thing where I'm not allowed to come back in. And they're like, okay, you have to come in and go to the Players Club to do that. I'm like, you're telling me I have to go to the casino so I can never go to the casino? And they're like, yep, that's the only way.
No, come in and go to the really nice Players Club, the really nice section.
So I did, and they take a picture of you. And of course, I like lost $100 on the way
course.
out because I'm like, well, I might as well. It's my last time. But yeah, so I mean, in my lifetime,
I love how
don't know.
it's such addict behavior. It's my last time. I might as
Yeah,
well go.
come on, yeah.
And then you're like, no, I've been back like 100
yeah, I've been.
times.
Oh yeah, I still go to.
Did you think originally that it was going to be like if you walked in,
Yeah,
they'd be like, no,
I
sir,
kind
you
of
have
thought.
to get out?
Yeah,
Okay.
but then I realized like, oh no, they don't actually do anything. But you know, I go to other casinos now. There's one in D.C. or I guess maybe it's Maryland, MGM National Harbor, which is a fun one.
Do you
But-
still lose too much, too often?
Well, no, because I'm so broke
Yeah.
that you know,
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
can only
I'm
lose,
very aware.
I can only lose a little bit so often. So like, you know, at this point I'm better in terms of
You don't
like,
take out credit or anything like that?
No, I don't do that.
You're
I
like,
did
hey,
it-
have you guys seen my videos?
I
Give
did
me
it.
a line.
Yeah,
Give me a
I
line of
stayed
credit.
in Vegas one time and I took out a couple like cash advances, which was bad. But yeah, at this point I have going to the casino down to like 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
Which is great. You know, so even when I lose, it's like, okay, whatever, you know, maybe I lost like
see you in 6 months.
Yeah. So it's just in, you know, and as an addict, of course, you're so good at rationalization where I'm like, okay, well, it's like, you know, a courtside seat for the NBA finals is like $100,000. And what's that for like 2 hours of entertainment? I'm like,
$100,000 lasts me months at the casino.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, I lost a couple $100, but you know, it's my entertainment. I'm paying for the experience.
Dude, if I had a nickel for every time I tried to tell myself that as an alcoholic,
it's the experience.
I remember, and gambling was never my thing. Just like drugs was never my thing.
Yeah.
I've tried a lot of different drugs, but it was always drinking. I always went back to drinking.
Okay.
I was like, I have to, like, I always say this, but once I started, I was like Frank the Tank and Old School. I was like, I cannot stop.
Yeah.
But gambling is funny to me now because sports gambling is legal. And I played football my whole life through college.
Yeah.
So I always think I have an edge over everyone else because I'm like, I played. I know,
so you know how
I know how it works.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first moved to New York 5 years ago, DraftKings had like all these bonuses for the start of the season.
Yeah.
And I put a bunch, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, so I put a bunch on the Jags. And the first game I hit like all of them.
Oh, great.
And I was up like $1,000 because, you know, it's the bonus bets, will double your whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, John, I can't lose. I can't lose if I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm so good at it.
And then you lose it all. And then I would just keep putting money back in to be like, well, I'll get it back. I won all that money the first time. I'll get it back. And then I started chasing. And I must have lost probably over the course of the whole season, like $500 at the end of the day, which isn't a ton over the course of 4 months. But that's when I was like, I have to delete this off my phone. Like that addict behavior started kicking. And I had been sober for a while from drinking, but I was like, maybe I should stop doing this.
Yeah, I'm mad. I get so mad at myself because I believe in God, you know, not a specific religion one. I mean, I grew up Christian. I went to church, but you know, so it's probably Christian based, but I still think it's a generalized God that everybody can be under. And you know, I'd pray all the time. I'd pray and I'd go to a casino and I always make these pleas where I'm like, God, if you just let me win $200, I swear I'll leave. I'll swear on my life. And then I'll go up $200 and I just keep playing. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I get mad. I know. I'm like, I get mad at myself. I'm like, damn it. I swore to God I would leave after 200 and I always give in. But yeah, so gambling addict and drinking never felt that bad. But I mean, eventually it just hurt my body. So that's why I slowed down. It wasn't really any major things. I mean, I mentioned a couple of those stories. Yeah, I drink and drive all the time.
What happened with the cop?
Never an issue. Yeah, so one day I was driving home wasted and I'm at a stoplight and I just threw up all over
while you're
myself.
Just sitting in your car.
Just sitting in your car, throw up all over yourself. And then I see that I'm directly next to a cop car. And both of our windows are down and like he could just look at me and I'm just staring straight ahead, and that was a moment I was probably like, I don't know, 23, 24, and I'm like, dear Lord, like if you just get me home safe, I'll believe in you and worship you forever and ever. And I got home fine and everything was great. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'm fine with that deal. I guess I'll believe in you forever. But there has been other times where like I've gotten pulled over high and drunk, but I'm good at it. Like I never seem too fucked up. So one time I got pulled over by a cop and I'm trashed and I have like cocaine in the car and he just comes up. He's like, where you going? Where you coming from? I'm like, I'm coming from a comedy club. I was like, I'm a stand-up comic. And he's like, oh yeah? He goes, you funny? I go, yeah, totally. I'm the best. And he goes, okay. He goes, tell me a joke then. I go,
I've had that.
Yeah, so I go, okay. And I start telling him jokes, like cop jokes, which were fun. And I said something like, oh, cops are cool, right? I go, but for some reason, every time we get pulled over, we act like we don't know what the fuck's in our car anymore, Like we're going to open up the glove compartment and a baby's head's going to fall out or something. He's like, okay. And I go, oh, this. And then I closed it by saying, but, there's some ways to get out of a ticket. I go, first off, what you got to do, really important, don't be black. They hate that. And the cop laughed and goes, yeah, that's good. So, he was like, all right. He goes, ticket's like $150. That was worth $150. He goes, all right, get out of here. So I'm like, all right, thank God. Good. So that was good. Yeah.
I've had it happen. This is a thing I tell on stage, a story I tell on stage, but I had done 2 open mics in 2009 and I had changed all of my entire life. I was now a comedian.
Yeah.
Because I had done 2 open mics. So I identified as I'm a comedian.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was one of those guys who like changed my work on Facebook to stand-up comic.
Yeah.
I changed my, cause at the time Instagram wasn't a thing and neither was TikTok obviously, but I like changed my gamer tag on Xbox to Brennan T Comedy.
Whoa,
and I was
okay.
like, this is my life now.
Yeah.
I'm a comic.
Good.
So I get pulled over, and they, you know, what's your occupation? And I was like, oh, I'm a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was a waiter, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a comedian. And then in the public record in Palm Beach County, at the police report, it said, suspect said occupation was comedian, comma, was actually pretty funny. And
All
I was
right.
like, this is the fucking
nice.
best.
That's good.
I've had this happens a lot because I still work at the restaurant. And a lot of times when I tell people I'm a comic, they'll be like, oh, tell me a joke. And now doing comedy as long as I have, I'll go, oh, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, and I just won't do it.
Uh-huh.
But man, when I was younger, I was chomping at the bit to be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll unload some material.
Yeah, right after I
And
did
it just bombs.
right after I did the first or second MTV show, I got pulled over one time, and the cop takes my ID, and then he goes sits in the car for a while, and he's back there for a while, and then he comes back and he's like, "You're from the reality show?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, man, I love you. You're funny." He goes, "I was sitting in the car watching your videos on the laptop." I go, "Nice." And then he goes, "Hold on." He goes, "I want my friend to meet you." I go, "Okay." So then we wait until a second cop car comes up.
Gets on the radio.
Yeah. So the other
Charlie,
cop,
you're not gonna believe who I got here.
yeah, the other cop comes up and just like looks at me, and he's like, I don't know who this is. He's like, I don't care. What is this? Yeah, he's like annoyed that the other guy told him to come meet me or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, hey, it's me or whatever. But yeah, so it was funny. Yeah, he let me go. He was like, yeah, just wanted to say hi. That's cool. But yeah, so yeah, just slow down the drinking because just wears on your body and and at this point it's been over 10 years since I've
that's
done
awesome.
Coke, which is good. I mean, I still drink every now and then, which is good, and I still.
Well, you had a couple of Coke stories that you sent me.
Yeah, what
the
did
homeless
I say?
dinner,
Oh, yeah.
the top down, the lottery ticket.
Oh, so many good ones. Yeah, that was the problem because when I was on Coke, I was too generous because
Yeah.
you feel so good. Where I'm like, my life's perfect, so like I might as well
I'm
share
gonna
the
start
joy.
a business. I'm doing great.
Yeah, there was one. It was around Christmas, and I was at a gas station, and I was just high out of my mind, I guess. And there's a homeless guy there, and I just said, "Hey, man, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be?" And he was like, "A nice steak dinner with potatoes." And we happened to be like in front of a fancy steak restaurant. And I said, "What if we go to that restaurant right now? You want to do that?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we go into this restaurant, and he's like, he's probably like 60 or maybe older, from Boston. And, he tells me about his life or whatever. And, everything's fine. I get him his nice dinner and all that. And then
was the people who work at the restaurant pissed? Like, why did you bring
maybe a little? Well, so
person?
yeah, they definitely looked weird at me at first because we walked in and they're like, but I was like, "It's okay, guys, don't worry." Yeah, I was like, "It's all good." But then so at the end of it, like it had been a nice sweet moment, and I was like, "All right, man, I guess it's time to go. I gotta leave now." And I had bought him like whiskey all night too, like he'd been drinking with me. And I was like, "We gotta go now." And he's like, "You go." He goes, "I'm gonna stay until they kick me out." And I'm like, "All right, well, see you
And
later."
then it's you. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
God.
care at all. Yeah, I'm sure the restaurant was eventually like, "What the fuck,
Yeah.
dude? Get out of here." But so who knows what happened with that? Maybe it turned bad, because he didn't want to leave. But that was a nice moment
Yeah.
for him. I
What
liked
happened with
that.
the lottery ticket?
Yeah, it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at a 7-Eleven. Got a scratch off, $100 winner. But, they closed the machine at like midnight or something, so they
Okay.
can't cash it in. So I'm just like, all right, you can have it, to the woman working behind the counter. And she was suspicious for,
Yeah.
She was like, why are you giving this to me? Like, she thought I was trying to get something from her, maybe. But I was just like, it's, enjoy it.
My life
Everything's
is
awesome.
great.
Oh, yeah. And then the joke is like crashing off Coke like 4 hours later. I'm like, I shouldn't have fucking given that money away. I'm like, I need that $100.
I need it now.
Yeah, things switch quick. There's another good moment like that where I was the beneficiary. I was at a casino. It was like after we graduated high school, me and some friends went to the Bahamas, I guess, and by wherever Atlantis is. We went to like
Bahamas,
the resort
yeah.
next to it, which
Okay.
is a nice, cheaper one. But there's a casino in Atlantis, and I'm at a blackjack table watching some guy play, you know what I mean? And I just go, "You're going to win this next hand." Just, trying to hype him up. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you think so?" I go, "Fuck yeah, dude." And then he puts $1,000 on the hand. And I'm like, uh-oh, like, he better win, right? But he hits blackjack.
Oh,
So
shit.
he hits blackjack. And then he gives me $200. And he goes, "Go play it." And I'm like, "All right, hell yeah." So I go play. And I lose it all. And so like
Of course.
a half hour later or something, I go back to that table, and the guy's still there, So I sit down, and now
Hey, man.
now he like will not look at me. He won't. I'm like, okay, something's going on. But I'm hoping, hey, maybe he'll be nice again to me. And then the guy's friend just turns to me and he whispers, he goes, he's down $20,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here before he asks me for the 200.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was a definitely up and down story. Yeah, that's how it is with gambling, man. Yeah, somebody's on top of the world and then they're
That was one thing I remember when I was a kid. My dad told me a story about like he went to a casino and was playing, and he was like, "Yeah, it was because when you're a kid, you have no concept of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just I knew that at the time computers were really expensive.
Yeah.
Like a regular like desktop was like $2,000.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad being like, "Yeah, I was up like 2,000, and then ended up just breaking even and went home."
Yeah.
And I remember freaking out, being like, "We've needed a new computer for like 2 years. Why would you just want?" And then as I got older, I was like, "Oh yeah, you can't just walk away."
Oh, dude, if like I literally can't even fathom the things I could have done with my life with the money I've spent. Like I could have taken trips around the world,
and they're not that expensive. And we learned that doing comedy. It's like you have to we fly to a place, we put ourselves up and all that stuff. And like I'm about to do a leg of a tour, and it's like Milwaukee, then Chicago, and I'm getting hotels and booking flights. And it's just weird because it's like, oh, if I wanted to take like a day trip to Chicago or a 2 or 3 day trip to Chicago, which is essentially what I'm doing. I'm going to Chicago for 3 days. I'm getting out of there for under like $500.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's really not that expensive to travel.
Yeah.
Especially with our experience knowing how to do certain things. And it is weird because I think about like when I spent that almost $30,000, it's like, oh, I could have gone to Europe for like a month.
Yeah. But yeah, then again, it's like I still don't regret it because you have so much fun. And
I talk to people a lot, especially being sober now for as long as I have been, and they'll be
you're
like,
dead sober.
Yeah.
Wow,
8 years, May 31st, 2018. But who's counting?
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, if you could go back and like tell your younger self not to drink, would you? And I'm like, that's my entire first special. Like, no, that's all of my material.
Interesting. Wow. So the sober guy's doing a show about the
Well,
fun
so
time.
I did a one-man show because I would tell people my crazy stories, and they were like, and, when you're in New York or like even DC, LA, like they're like, oh my God, you have to turn that into like a thing, like a show. Like you have to try to monetize it.
Yeah.
So everyone was telling me you have to do a one-man show.
Okay.
So I was maybe 5 years sober when I did my actual one-man show, which was incredibly dramatic, and I talk about why I got sober. But most of my material I just shot a special in May. So I burned all that material, but it was all about like my life before.
Yeah.
So it's like about getting arrested 8 times and like all the stuff that happens in jail. Like everyone thinks it's this way, and then you get there and you're like, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
And so, but it was interesting to think about because it's like I was always a kid who thought drinking was poison. And like I'd see people get drunk and be like, oh, this is terrible.
Interesting.
And then I tried it and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And so, but it is one of those things where it's like, I wouldn't go back and change it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was pre-law. I ended up getting engaged at like 25. Like had I not changed anything, I'd be working in an office somewhere.
Right.
Like not doing stand-up.
Yeah.
So the fact that I went through everything I went through and now I live in the greatest city in the world for comedy. It's like, it all worked out.
Yeah. But yeah, it is funny that you're doing a podcast while you're because that's like a guy doing a hunger strike who just talks about food.
Well, that's why it's called X Drinking Buddy.
Yeah, X Drinking Buddy.
Originally, the idea for the show was generated when I was in college in like 2010 when podcasts were becoming a thing.
Wow, yeah.
And me and my buddy would just get drunk. And he was, shout out Daniel Bearcat, he was a big tech guy. Like he was super into like all the latest tech.
Yeah.
Like lights and cameras and computer. Like he's obsessed with it. He has a channel now on YouTube that does really well called Tech Warehouse.
Yeah.
But he was like, we could do a podcast. Like I could get the equipment for it. Like we could do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we'll call it Drinking Buddies and we'll just get hammered and record it.
Hell yeah.
John, had we gotten it on the ground floor, it would have been great.
Yeah.
We recorded 5 episodes, never released them.
Oh.
And then fast forward 10 years, I was like, well, I still like that idea.
Yeah.
But I'm sober now. So then I just changed it to X Drinking Buddy.
That's fine.
And that's just kind of, but it is a weird thing to talk about. I don't know. And like in certain sober circles, they really look down on me because they're like, you're not supposed to glorify or talk about war stories and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but this is interesting to me.
Well, you're like the street preacher who's talking about all the fucked up things he did before he before he found God. Yeah.
Before I found God, I was sucking dicks through a coke.
Yeah. Damn right. Yeah, which brings me to a theory I have, because I met a street preacher. I talk to every street preacher. I love them so much. One time, just by chance, I did 2 stand-up specials as Jesus, because I had long hair and I just had a toga, and I was like, oh, I look kind of like Jesus.
I saw a couple of those clips.
Yeah, so that was enough for me.
40 days. They said 500 people. Like 200.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. But there was a moment which just happened to work out hilariously, where I was dressed as Jesus and I was doing some street stuff, and there was a street preacher out. So I just walked up to him and I said, I heard you talking about my dad. And, him and the whole crew, they're like, blasphemy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fuck you. You're an idiot. You're this, you're that. But, I was talking to a street preacher a couple of days ago, and it led me to this theory that I think a lot of street preachers are murderers who got a plea deal. Because
really?
Oh yeah, because all these street preachers, they're constantly like, I was really bad. I was a really bad person. But now, because it makes me think they got some sort of deal, because a lot of them are out there. This one I was talking to, he kept saying like, God put me here today. And I'm like, yeah, but like, where are you staying tonight? He's like, in a hotel. And I'm like, how do you pay for the hotel? He's like, God provides for the hotel. So I'm like, is there an agency that like put you out here and is making you do it?
And if so, what is the number?
Yeah, it really feels like these people have been placed here for some reason by someone to do this.
You probably see this in DC, but there's so many conspiracy rabbit holes that I go down. Like even during the protests and stuff, like the BLM protests we would go to in Jacksonville.
Paid agitators.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'd see people who were like getting riled up, and you were like,
yep.
And that's a thing where, because like, obviously violence sells tickets. Like people will watch.
Yeah. But violence discredits the movement.
Yeah.
So they just put one guy in there. I mean, one battle after another, they had a guy who threw a Molotov cocktail. So yeah, it feels
and
like
or they did the same thing. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it literally is just like anytime any movement seems to be getting traction, they're like, throw in a psycho who will discredit them. And it always works every time.
It is fascinating to me because, like, and again, you being in DC, I'm sure you see a lot more of this than I do, but just how stupid people can be about stuff. Where, like, to your point, where it's like, yeah, obviously that was a plant. Mm-hmm. And people are like, of course you would say that. And it's like, no, it's right in front. Like, that makes the most sense.
Oh, yeah. And
or like when the riots were happening and cop cars were getting destroyed, and it's like, yeah, we don't know if that was cops destroying their own stuff 100%. To try and make it look bad.
Exactly. Yeah, and also, why would you park that one cop car in the during Black Lives Matter stuff around the pandemic time in Tampa, Florida, there was this one shitty rundown mall that they've had signs forever that are like, we're going to renovate it one day, but they've never renovated it. And then they just directed all the protesters to destroy this mall. And I'm like, well, that's convenient that they sent them to the shitty mall that they wanted to.
And now all of a sudden you're getting an insurance check.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's crazy. Like the cops are literally like, go in there.
Yeah. Well, and I went to a lot of those protests, and it was interesting because obviously the way I look, and I always wear the same thing. I wear a black t-shirt and jeans. Mm-hmm. So people were looking at me like
undercover
this
cop.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
Do you now? Do you still find yourself in situations where you like to get after it? Because you say you don't really drink it that much anymore, but with the traveling and stuff, are you still partying, or is that kind of behind you?
Barely.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know, years of weed used to. I don't know if it's like panicky type feelings, but now if I do anything too much, it feels like my heart hurts.
Yeah.
Well, because of the coke too. Like I went to the hospital once because like I believed I'd overdosed. I mean, I thought I was having a heart attack. It was crazy. I mean, yeah, it was.
What
bad.
did the doctor say?
You
just did way too much, man.
Yeah, essentially that's kind of what they were telling me. They're like, you have heart palpitations, but they're like, but you don't, but your body didn't release the whatever it releases when you have a heart attack. Yeah. But even at that point too, it was fucked up because they had me in a hospital bed, and they're like, oh, we'll give you morphine, that'll balance it out, that'll help you. I'm like, okay. So they gave me a thing of morphine, and it felt so good. And then so this was great. Another nurse comes in, And I go, hey, the doctor said something about like giving me morphine, maybe.
This is after you already got.
Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah,
God knows what he's doing.
It's so bad. Yeah. So like,
God knows what he's doing, folks.
Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, of course, do that. So they come in, they give me another hit, and now I'm just like really fucked up, and they realize they made a mistake, so they get
no
mad
one
at
checked
me.
the chart
yeah,
before.
They're bad. Yeah, they come back. They're like, you got more than you were supposed to. Like you're not allowed to have any more. Like that was a mistake. And, I'm just way out of it. And I'm not sure. I can't exactly remember, but I think I also, like, had sex with my ex-girlfriend in the hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she came to see me. So I think I had sex in the hospital, but I was so trashed I can't really remember.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a bad time. But yeah, so the coke feelings. Yeah, the coke made my heart. Well, after I stopped coke, because I had done it too much for too long, where I essentially felt like my heart hurt for like over a full year straight. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that kind of stopped me off
that's
pretty much everything for a while. And then eventually, they say, well, I heard this one statistic where it's like every cell in your body completely regenerates after 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
So
I've heard that too.
Yeah, my first thought when I heard that was like, okay, well, that means after I don't do coke for 7 years, I can
I'll be good.
I'll get right back to it. Yeah. But no, so I never went back.
That's why your flavor profile changes. Or at least that's what I've been
really?
told. Because your taste buds and everything will change as you get older, which is why as a kid you might hate onions and then as an adult you love onions.
Yeah, I've heard that. Interesting. Yeah, it's a cool thing.
So what's going on? What's next?
What, in life? Or
yeah.
I don't
You're
know,
in New York now? You gonna go back to DC?
Yeah, I'm here for a week doing shows and stuff. Gonna go back to DC. I have, more stunt ideas planned.
Yeah.
I mean, because I just
what
like,
can I get away with?
Yeah, I like, doing these like big spectacle kind of things. I mean, one of my clips, I'm like hanging upside down on the subway. That was fun. Singing. And I have a few ideas. I don't know if logistically I'll be able to make it happen, but I've really been wanting to build a full-size hangman with a noose and simulate hanging myself in front of the Capitol or the White House.
Like a Mike Pence thing?
Yeah, but just like, with a harness with a little thing, but visually it'll look like I'm being hung by a noose. And then, doing bits while I'm hanging. I think that'd be fun. I just because, again, I know that visually.
Mask on, mask off.
Yeah, mask on.
Mask on.
And visually, I just know it would be so wild.
Dude, that would get millions.
Yeah,
of
it
views.
literally wouldn't even matter what I'm saying. People would just be like,
you could
what
be like,
the
goo goo
fuck?
gaga, ba 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 boo.
Yeah, and people would be like, this is fucking crazy. And people would be fine. Oh, this is racist. But I would be up there and I would just be trying to bring
Honestly, that was my first thought.
That would be racist.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. But here's the thing. I would just want to be up there and I would want to be talking about how black people are still getting hung.
Yeah.
Because they are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough attention to it. So if I'm in front of the White House in a fucking noose talking about how black people are getting hung, suddenly I'm giving attention to something that's not being talked about enough.
That's
so
true.
it's like if you can, make the visual and have a good enough message behind it, I think it's fine.
That is interesting because there is something to that point where I don't know, I had this discussion with people before, but there are certain things that I'll say on stage, to your point, to like bring attention, because I'm really pretentious when it comes to comedy. I'm very much like, I'm trying to say something up here, blah, blah, blah. I have since toned down. When I first took comedy seriously, so I got sober, I was like, I'm going to start taking comedy seriously. I'm going to treat it like a job. And dude, you could not be around me.
Okay.
You'd be like, shut the fuck up. You're not Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But still, to that point, I still am like, I want to try to say. So I have like a bit that never works, but it's about how we ended Prohibition 30 years before the Civil Rights Movement.
Okay.
Like that's how fucked America is, that we're like, we'll get to that later, but like we need our whiskey now. And I was like, no, this is good because it draws attention to the fact that like this is how backwards society. And people were like, you're a white dude from the South.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I
had one line about Prohibition. I said, what if Prohibition was just them trying to stop us from marrying ugly people? They're like, you guys don't understand. You're getting trashed and you're being with shitty partners. It's the only way you're going to be safe.
That's a great way to
and
we have to cut out alcohol because you guys are waking up next to some dogs.
Exactly. Like in the long run, it probably fucking would have saved everybody. But no, we need our thing. Well, that's that's a testament to how bad most of, general life is, where it's like, if life was good, hypothetically, we wouldn't need alcohol at all.
Yeah, well, and that's a big thing with the younger generation. Like, I work with a lot of people. Now, at the restaurant I work at, it's a very swanky, highfalutin place.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of career servers. So, like, I'm one of the youngest people there, and I'm 38.
Okay.
It's a lot of, like, the servers are older because we make really good money. We don't have to work that many hours. And it's like a career serving job.
Yeah.
But the hosts and stuff are all
Young.
18, 19, 20.
Sure.
And it's so funny because when I started working in restaurants at 18, that's what you did. You worked the shift, you went out and got fucking annihilated.
Sure, yeah.
You'd hook up with people, and then the next day was super awkward.
Uh-huh.
So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, oh, do you guys like, because obviously I don't associate with them because
Yeah.
I'm married with a kid and I have my life. But I'd be like, oh, do you guys like go out and get hammered? And they're
Yeah.
like, no, not really.
Yeah.
And then I went down this rabbit hole because they're talking to me about Sober Curious and like all this stuff. And apparently the younger generation just doesn't get as fucked up
I get that.
as we did.
Well, it's because everyone is different than their parents, and
That's true.
all their parents. Well, it's gonna be
millennials
hilarious.
get fucked up.
Oh yeah, and like, dude, the future is gonna be like your parents are all influencers.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be weird, and that's gonna drive kids away from the internet.
Yeah, I think the
It's
social media thing
lame.
is
They're gonna
starting.
think it's lame that
Yeah.
my dad is fucking like, hey. So yeah,
Dude,
people are gonna.
I
get away
just did
from
a
it.
story where I got the baby in the carrier right before
Yeah.
we got here. I was like, anything to sell tickets, baby.
Yeah,
Hey, come to
exactly.
the show,
Yeah,
Milwaukee,
yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah, so it's gonna turn around. But yeah, the way prohibition, like, we wouldn't need if life was good. It's another idea of where people are like, oh, we have all these benefits living in America, so it's like you can't really talk shit about it because you're indulging in all the benefits you get from it. Where it's like, if iPhones were made ethically, they'd cost $7,000.
Yeah.
So everybody shut up because you get your nice iPhone. But then again, the idea is like, okay, but if the rest of society was also ethical, we wouldn't mind paying $7,000
Yeah,
for an
we
iPhone.
would be able to afford
Yeah,
$7,000
because they
for-
pitch that to you like this terrible alternate reality. You want to pay that much money? It's like, if life was good, yeah, I'm happy to pay a lot of money.
Or if I had
life
a
was
job where
Yeah.
I was getting paid,
Yeah, where you
what
could
I
afford
thought,
to.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
worth. Yeah,
good. Yeah, so it's like things can be better, but it's just
that is
there's
another
all
thing
them.
that I have noticed about the younger generation that I don't know if it was a work ethic thing or growing up thing or whatever, but they'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm not coming to work today,"
Okay,
and we're like, "What?"
Sure,
And they're
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm." They'll take a mental health day.
yeah,
And they go, "Yeah, I don't
thing.
have to be like. It's not going to burn down because I'm not there.
Right.
Figure it out."
Yes,
And I'm
yeah.
like, "That's so empowering."
yeah, no, yeah,
And then my
yeah,
bosses
it
are
is
like, "Yeah,
good.
we're not going to fire them. Like,
Yeah.
if they want a day, they can take the day." And I was like,
Yeah.
"You can do that."
I know. It's a good thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. People should be able
Europe's
to do
got
that.
it right in a lot of ways, man. Those
Yeah, I
fucking
mean, dude,
4-day
there's a
work
lot
weeks.
of times, anywhere in the country, anywhere around the world, sometimes you just go into communities or places, stores, whatever, and you see, existences, and yeah, that scares me a lot of times, where you'll see like some sort of shitty gig, maybe worked by an older middle-aged person. You're like, damn, this guy, the last like 20 to 30 years of this person's life could be doing this, shitty thing. So, I don't know. I that's why, I enjoy living like a day at a time, a week at a time.
Amen.
Because it's like, dude, I mean, what's the alternate? Like one thing every day for 50 years? I mean,
I think about John every day. I think about that.
yeah, it's
Because
very scary.
The one thing I love about stand up is nobody's gonna fire me.
Yeah.
So like I can keep doing
Yes.
this. And the good thing about the restaurant I work in is I can make enough to help Tracy with the bills on
Yeah.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
And she's incredibly supportive of my comedy career,
Yeah.
which is why I'm going on tour with a 2-month-old
Mhm.
because she was like, yeah, this is your job. This
yeah.
is what you
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
But I have friends that live that life every day.
Yeah.
You wake up,
It's
you go into the office,
terrifying.
you do the thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and for them, they love it because they're like, it affords me the opportunity to live in a nice house and have the
Mhm.
nice car and go
Yeah.
on vacations with my family. The vacation with the family is the end game. The
Yeah.
kid going to the college that they want, that's the end game, not the
Yeah.
job.
But those are even like for good jobs.
yeah.
The shitty jobs,
Yeah,
you
the
don't get
shitty
any
jobs.
of that. Yeah.
Because there's so many people I work with just in restaurants where it's
Yeah.
like the same thing every day. You're barely making enough to get by
Yeah.
and it's just in the night. And dude,
See, I was thinking about that in Japan because a lot of the touristy things, a lot of restaurants, everything, like, we're all like, oh my God, so fun, so beautiful, haha, this is great. But then, like, the guy who's been making noodles the
Yeah.
same way for 30 plus years in a society that's like very repressed and quiet. I mean, it's dead silent on the metro. It's dead silent.
what I hear.
So you're like, damn, dude, it's like, it's fun for me because I'm in it for a week or two.
Yeah.
But for them, it's this silent repressed life forever.
That's
So it's really scary.
Have fun out there, everybody. No, dude, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. This is a
I loved
blast.
it. This is fun.
Plug
Thank
everything
you.
one more time.
Yeah, my name's John Jacobs, Maybach Diamonds on Instagram, John Jacobs CC on TikTok and YouTube, and Ploitikill podcast. That's the name of the character. So legally, everything I'm doing is not my thoughts.
Oh,
I'm
good.
in character.
That's good.
Yeah, so anything I say, it doesn't mean anything.
There you go.
It's a joke. I'm joking in a character.
Legal safety nets, baby. Look
Damn
into
right.
it.
Yeah, it's like a stage play. It's a theater show, so it means nothing.
That's so
Yep.
smart. That's so smart.
Thank you.
I thought you were gonna say like, oh no, it's like it's the brand now. But no, it's actually a very smart.
Yeah, it's a
legal
character.
defense.
Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
whenever I
It's
put
like
on a-
SNL, dude.
Yeah.
It means
Whenever I
satire.
put on a comedy show, I always go, "Oh, this is the ex drinking buddy
Yeah.
comedy show."
Yeah,
If
okay,
anything
yeah.
happens, I'm like, "You can go after the pod. You can't touch me.
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
has nothing to do with me,
Yeah, get mad at the character, dude. It's not me. It's not
Oh.
me at all.
dude." Political.
Ploitikill. Yes.
Ploitikill.
Ploitikill. Yep.
Everything's tagged in the show notes. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T Comedy on all social media. Thank you to everyone who came out for the shows in Milwaukee and Chicago. They were awesome. I'll tell you that right now. So you should have seen it, man. Sold
Yeah?
out every show.
Oh,
It was-
good.
it's the shows this weekend. I don't
Oh,
know what's
right.
gonna
Yeah,
happen. Yeah, we'll talk to y'all next week. Boom.